Welcome to the First Things First podcast. And first things first, we need you to subscribe and leave comments letting us know what you think of the show. We're listening. I'm Nick Wright, joined by two of my favorite people, Jenna Wolfe, Cris Carter. Now, let's get the show started.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. I am Jenna Wolfe. He is the Hall of Famer, Cris Carter, and this is my good friend, Nick Wright. Both of our kids are efforting to get into a specific school, and right before we go on the air, Nick says, don't worry, my kid's in. So I'm starting off with a little bit of shaky confidence.
Well, listen,
going into
I've
the game.
spent some time with your children, but I do, and I have all confidence that they will get into whatever school they want to. However, my child told me that on the test to get in, they had a lot of matching up fruits with other fruits, and your kids were like, what are these? I've never come across these things, these complex carbohydrates.
Are fruits.
Good morning, Cris Carter. How are you? Your kid's long out of the educational system. You don't have to worry about these things.
What's up, CC?
I'm into the B block already.
Good morning, everybody.
So what happens when your kid isn't 3 years old? We have a great show. You two were at a game last night. We're going to talk that in a little bit, but we are going to start with football in an effort to lead this here show and other shows like it. Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels has decided to stay in New England. He was all set to be named the Colts' new head coach. But why do we think that? Well, the Colts did release a statement saying he had the job, and a press conference was planned, and he already hired assistant coaches, and he bought a Colt. But reportedly, he didn't buy a Colt. Reportedly, Robert Kraft sweetened his contract, gave him some love, and convinced him to stay. So let's start the bidding here. CC, what is your reaction to McDaniels' decision?
What kind of job would he take? If the coach job is not good enough for him, I mean, it's not like 30 NFL owners are knocking down Josh McDaniels' door. I mean, like, let's not forget what his reputation is. Now, I know Bill Belichick, a lot like Nick Saban, a lot like Urban Meyer. Like, if you're a coach and you've had success, like, you can go to these programs and they kind of scrub you clean, kind of like the government, kind of give you a whole new identity.
Right.
But I remember who Josh was. So if he's not going to take the coach job, all right, what kind of job would he take? Next question would be, there must be something else wrong with Andrew Luck. And the third conclusion is, did Kraft give him enough in the conversation outside of the money in his contract that would lead him to believe he could be the next guy in New England? Like, those are all three of the things that I have to ask myself. Because, man, these NFL jobs are precious. We don't hear a lot about turning down NFL jobs. We hear a lot about turning down college jobs, but not jobs in the NFL.
Especially if this is your second go-around, because you may not have a third go-around at it.
And you mentioned, Cris, his reputation. That was before he reneged on a team.
What?
That was before he had a spotty reputation leading into this. What NFL team outside of New England now can trust this guy to be their head coach? Especially when you consider he is staying with the Patriots. We would not anticipate any time in the upcoming seasons the Patriots are going to be a team where their season is over prior to the playoffs. So there's already the added degree of difficulty if you want to hire a coordinator from a team that makes the playoffs. You have to wait a longer period of time. You make yourself more susceptible to this exact situation once again. And I want to lay out the exact timeline for the audience. He first interviewed with the Colts 3 weeks ago. We thought he might have the job then, but there was some speculation the Titans could want him as well. Remember the Titans? Oh, they're going to keep their head coach. Oh, if they win the playoff game, they won the playoff game. And then the moment they lose the next playoff game, he's out. And so, so maybe he doesn't go to the Colts. He has a second interview with the Colts. And then as of yesterday, agrees to the deal to the point where a guy like Matt Eberflus, and I apologize if I mispronounce his last name, he leaves his job to go sign with the Colts and sign with them. Mike Fair leaves his job to go sign with the Colts and signs with them. And then all of a sudden, it's, I have to do what's best for my family. And I don't disregard family considerations, but your family didn't grow or change or go through any machinations over these last 3 weeks. So I think you keyed on it at the end there about his future with the Patriots, but this isn't even Belichick reneging on the Jets, because he reneged on one head coaching job to take another head coaching job. Like, that was not only, maybe not even a lateral move, that might have been a step up. This is unprecedented for a guy to have a head coaching job, turn it down after accepting it, to then stay a coordinator.
So if you read between the lines, you would have to assume that the words head coach had somehow, some way come up when Robert Kraft went back to Josh McDaniels and tried to convince him, sweetening the pot, if you will. Maybe there was more money. Maybe there was, hey, Belichick only has this many years left. Maybe there was, Belichick wants you back because you are one of the guys who can work with Tom Brady. There was a lot of speculation going into this. And I wonder if you say what other head coaching jobs out there, if you compared the New England Patriots in a couple years to the Colts next year, which do you think is a better offer? Even if you think the Patriots may or may not even be a real option.
Well, there's better ownership. So the Patriots are a better franchise. They got better history, and Kraft knows how to put people and delegate in authority. So there's no comparison between Irsay and Kraft.
None.
But no, there's no comparison at all as far as the way they go about doing business. But for Josh, I gotta think about Andrew Luck. I'm not going to think as much about New England and what's going to happen there, because we don't know that. And I'm not going to waste all my airtime guessing, okay, Bill Belichick's going to be there a year. Bill Belichick's going to be there 2 years. I'm thinking about the thing I'm going to concentrate now on Andrew Luck. What do the injury reports say about him? How long is it going to take? And as reported, is he going to need another surgery? So for the things that I will make important as far as trying to research is Andrew Luck and his overall health, and Indianapolis. Now, what do they do? A month late in the head coaching process, who ends up taking that job?
Here's why that is not what I'm focused on. Because of the timeline. If it were he was offered the job, he pondered it, he went back to a second interview, was offered the job again, and then said, you know what, I'm good, then I would have totally been with you. Something's up with Andrew Luck. Chris Mortensen, one of your former colleagues, reported he might need another surgery. But as of yesterday morning,
that was his
he
job.
was on the phone with Irsay and accepted it. And then yesterday evening, he changes his mind. That is a very small window of time for new Andrew Luck information to come out. Now, maybe there was some Andrew Luck worry bubbling up. But I mean,
the Andrew Luck information could be just as likely to happen as Bill Belichick not coaching. The likelihood of which one is Andrew Luck's got a worse shoulder than we thought, or Bill Belichick is going to walk away from New England.
Well, I don't think Bill Belichick's going to walk away from New England this year. But I do think the meeting with Robert Kraft that happened after he agreed to terms, didn't sign, but agreed to terms with Indianapolis, that is the variable in this that appears to have changed the situation. And I know people are saying Robert Kraft sweetened the pot money-wise. I don't know what he makes as the offensive coordinator of New England. I can say with full confidence, you are not going to make more as the coordinator in New England as you would as the head coach in Indy. So while you could sweeten the money, you couldn't make the money even. And yes, the Patriots have a far better ownership situation, but one is a head coaching job, one is a coordinator job. I'm not saying Robert Kraft said to him, hey, you're going to be the head coach in a year. But I don't think Josh McDaniels does this if he is not fully confident that he is the next head coach of the New England Patriots. It's a hell of a gamble otherwise because of the reputation you started talking about at the beginning.
Cece, who does this affect more now? The Colts, a month into the process, where all the other guys that they've already interviewed already have basic head coaches already? Or the Patriots getting their guy back who Tom Brady feels very comfortable with going into the start of a season at age 40, 41?
Well, let's not put this out there. Tom Brady's going to play if they hire a small monkey to coach the New England Patriots, okay? Like Tom Brady's going to throw for 4,500 yards, 4,300 yards.
Regardless of who his OC
Yes,
is.
Josh McDaniels, let's stop that. Tom Brady has continued with all three. Charlie Weiss, my man Bill O'Brien and all these guys have taken credit for Tom Brady. Tom Brady does most of his work during the offseason with the quarterback coach house in California. So, no, it affects both franchises. I just think New England was in turmoil after the Malcolm Butler suspension, or him not playing, an active suspension, the defensive coordinator going to the Lions, losing all those pieces and losing Super Bowl 52. I believe that Kraft and them wanted to kind of reel things in and stop some of the chaos, because it's hard to replace your offensive and defensive coordinator and losing your third Super Bowl. So people talk about New England as how many Super Bowls they've won. They've also lost as many Super Bowls as anyone in NFL history with 5.
Oh,
New topic here, the mysterious case of Malcolm Butler, coming soon to a theater near you. Butler, the Super Bowl 49 hero who was basically benched by Bill Belichick, took to social media to defend himself yesterday, refuting rumors of potential causes for his benching, or in other words, he plays defense and then he played defense. Quote, during my 4-year career with the Patriots, I have always given everything I have to play at a high level, and I would never do anything to hurt my teams. Chances of winning a game, including this year's Super Bowl, where I visited with my family every night. During Super Bowl week, I never attended any concert, missed curfew, or participated in any of the ridiculous activities being reported. They are not only false, but they are hurtful to me and my family. Tom Brady not only liked Butler's post, but also commented. He said, quote, love you, Malcolm. You're an incredible player and teammate and friend, always, with a whole bunch of exclamation points. Cece, what is your reaction to all of this here?
I'm happy for Malcolm, because he defended himself, because the rumors as far as it started off with that he was late for the team playing. That was one thing. Potentially that he was sick during the week. He also had a bad week of practice. Also was at the Rick Ross concert. Also, there was some drug rumors and everything. So I'm glad he was able to defend himself, because if you look at what he has done with New England, and he's approaching the most important time of his career. First time he's been able to be a free agent. New England has refused to pay him. You know, even though he is responsible for them winning a Super Bowl, they refused to give him a contract. And besides that, they went out and gave Stephon Gilmore from Buffalo a huge contract. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy who knew that his time in New England was coming to an end. You see in the post, he said, my 4-year career. He didn't say in my 4 years of playing in New England, as if it could continue. He knows he's out of there. He knows that he's not a New England guy at this point. And what Bill Belichick did to him, it also led open all this speculation as he leads into free agency that he's finally going to have his big payday. Like, this is very, very damaging, because other teams around the league, they don't know who Malcolm is. So he's got to try to clear up his name as he approaches free agency. He wasn't able to participate, so the hurt of that will never go away. He couldn't help his teammates, his brothers, in the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick wouldn't allow him onto the field. So I'm glad that he took to social media to try to defend his position, because if he didn't do anything, he deserves that right. Right now, we're in as far as society, we're in this guilty until proven innocent, compared to innocent until proven guilty.
Well, and I think Tom Brady co-signing this goes a long way to people believing him. The fact that if Malcolm Butler was caught with weed the night before the game, or was missed curfew the night before the game, as many of the rumors have been, lightly reported rumors by not some of the best national media members, but rumors all the same that he had to respond to, if those were true, then I don't know that Tom Brady, right after losing a Super Bowl, is immediately, going to social media to comment on what a great teammate he's been, what a great person he's been. So I think that further validates what Malcolm Butler is saying.
And 100% Tom Brady knows.
Correct.
Like, there's no doubt that Tom knows, just like I tried to tell you and you after the game. Like, if I was on that team, like, I would know the situation and I would know how to approach it. And it's amazing that Tom Brady feels as if when he issues this post, Tom feels like he's got to come to defend him. Tom Brady doesn't have to do that. And Tom Brady has spent his career taking care of Tom Brady.
Right.
Tom Brady, he would not help Castle. He would not help Jimmy Garoppolo. But he's got a teammate in distress. He decides to do something that is not characteristic of Tom in the way he's conducted his career.
A guy in distress who, by the way, as you alluded to, he knows isn't even going to be a teammate anymore.
Yes.
So a guy that he, in a few months, won't have any professional connection to moving forward. You mentioned Malcolm Butler knows he's not going to be with the Patriots. I don't think he woke up Sunday morning knowing that. He woke up Sunday morning, I think, believing.
I think he knew and he's been trying to negotiate an extension with them.
But if
he knew that he was not going to get an extension and not be playing with New England before the Super Bowl.
I think you're forgetting one thing. Maybe I'm wrong. That after they traded Garoppolo, there was a lot of discussion they would have the franchise tag available for Malcolm Butler. Now, listen, maybe
they are not going. If you look at New England's history, they're not going to franchise a corner, and they've already got $60 million in Stephon Gilmore.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Like they just gave Devin McCourty last year a contract extension. So it's too much. They've never done business that way.
Okay, so you're saying he knew he was gone either way. Now he knows without any question. I think he now knows New England's not even going to offer me an extension. Maybe they would have offered him a courtesy extension prior. They're not going to anymore. But I do want to remind because the part about this that is so perplexing to me, and the part about this that I am going to be curious about and want to know the answer to until we get real corroborated information on what was going through Belichick's head, is him not playing at all. Let's remember how we know Malcolm Butler's name. Yeah, it's Super Bowl 49, the amazing interception. He started that game as the 5th corner on the depth chart, did not play in the first half. Why did he go into the game? Because there was a corner, the nickel corner, I think it was Kyle Arrington, but I know it was the nickel corner for the Patriots in that game, was struggling. So they went to Malcolm Butler. Every corner on the Patriots on Sunday was struggling. The fact that they didn't make a mid-game adjustment goes so counter to all of the genius of Bill Belichick that we've talked about ad nauseum. That's the part of this that makes this so damn confusing.
That's why the only thing I thought missing from his Instagram post, and I thought that he should have come out and said, he's not going to be there next year. It was a very nice note about the Patriots organization. You easily could have said, you have the whole world watching and listening. After the Super Bowl, this is one of the 3 biggest topics. You have the stage. Tell us what happened. If you don't want to tell us what happened, say, I don't know why I didn't play. I don't know why I was benched. But I will tell you, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, and I didn't do this. Then it alleviates all of these other rumors.
But Jenna, after the game, he did that. After the game, he flatly said, they gave up on me. And now so to me, he answered that there.
But clearly he didn't if the Patriots dressed him. If the Patriots dressed him, they didn't give up on you. If they gave up on you, don't even dress the guy.
No, well,
you're not even an option.
Jenna, they gave up on him. All right, when you play 97% of the snaps and they're out there running defensive coverages and you can't participate, they gave up on you.
So what does that mean? That all of a sudden, after playing and starting and playing every snap in the 2 prior playoff games, all of a sudden Bill Belichick is like, now I don't think you can play anymore. I just decided I don't think you're good enough. I'm giving up on you. Tell me, please, I don't understand it, so please explain that to me, how that happens.
Well, I don't know, Jenna. Like, right, if I had the answer, like if Malcolm Butler, like, if he gave us more information, like this is the way New England does business, though. All right. Now, we've accepted Bill Belichick doing business this way because you alluded to, if he would have been able to pull this off, then we would have, it would have been.
It's a footnote. If they win the game, it's a footnote.
But it didn't. And there's certain things that I can't explain with lack of information. So I'm not going to try to. I'm not going to reach. I'm not going to stretch.
And Jenna, what
I don't know?
What if Malcolm Butler doesn't know? What if he doesn't know what he did?
That's why I think he should have said that. Okay. I don't know what I did wrong, but I will tell you that I didn't do the following. I didn't miss curfew.
He did say that part.
The only part I thought missing was, I don't know why I was benched. But here are the things that I didn't.
Listen, it might.
It leaves it open to something might have happened because that's
okay. Well, he made to me the way I read it. He made it very clear. Something didn't happen.
Yes.
According to him.
That's why he said all those things.
He's saying all these things. I mean, I will read it. Quote: During the Super Bowl week, I never attended the concert, missed curfew, or participated in any of the ridiculous activities being reported. To me, he addresses all those. I don't think he knows why Bill Belichick decided not to play him. You would have preferred he include in their sentence, I don't know why he didn't play, but I mean, I don't, I can't get in his head. You say Tom Brady knows. I want to make sure we understand each other. If he had broken a team rule, Tom Brady would know. Correct? You're saying that.
Yes.
But we don't. If it was just Belichick decided it, then nobody knows but Belichick. To me, at least.
Back here on First Things First, we're going viral by now. Every person in America knows the words Philly special. The amazing play called by the Eagles at the end of the first half will go down in Super Bowl lore, and it will forever be remembered by one Eagles fan. Dan Morgan got a diagram of the Philly special. That's awesome. Tattooed on his right forearm. I can't even believe I'm saying it. I approve.
That's better than the tattoo Chris Long's going to have to get.
Of
what? Who is it?
Coach Flage.
Coach Flage's face on him.
Hey, go back to that. That play's illegal. They got the tattoo. They got the dude in the backfield. They only got 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. Well, that's not a legal play. Look, the wide receiver to the right. He's not on the line of scrimmage.
That don't count.
That was
Flag
so
funny.
By the way, when you look at the actual replay of it, it might have been illegal, but we're not going to talk about that because there's a 6'8" man that benefited from that play to my right.
Lane Johnson, how are you?
Sir.
I'm doing good. I've been having fun. Well, my bad. I'm leaving you hanging. Yeah, we had a lot more fun to come on, especially starting tomorrow.
Now that it's all over, were you a little nervous the first couple times we spoke to you because we kept pushing and pushing and pushing? No, of course not. Why would I ask that? How about this? Super Bowl champions. How does it sound? Feels good. It's just been so long. The city's been waiting for it for forever, and you're going to see tomorrow why they're so happy about it. Tomorrow's the parade. Tomorrow's the parade. I hear everything's shut down. Everything's shut down. Schools are shut down.
Got Chris going on the light poles. It's SWATs everywhere where it's big things popping.
But Philly keeps putting Crisco and grease on the light poles. They should consider putting super glue on the light poles. Like, maybe that's a better strategy.
How long do you want to stay on? Reverse psychology.
That's extra work. What? I thought you were here for your smarts.
Oh, okay.
That's extra work. So if you stick them up there, then you got to go up there and get them.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't think that
like a mousetrap.
Fair enough.
But we know it's special winning the first Super Bowl in franchise history. But it's got to make it extra special when you beat Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I mean, they're the most powerful franchise since in our adult life. They've been the one dynasty that we can attach it to. What does that? How does that make it even more special?
Definitely, it was a hard game when it came down to the wire. So it was really just back and forth. And from my point of view, it was whoever had the ball last was going to win. Brady and them had it. Unfortunately, we got a strip sack on that. But it was just back and forth the whole game, and it was nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie.
I know that it had to be total jubilation when Zach Ertz scores the touchdown. Yeah. There's the long review, but I think most people knew it was probably going to be confirmed. But then, and it's kind of forgotten play, you guys didn't get the 2-point conversion. So all of a sudden, you're only up 5, and as you meant
on the sideline doing it.
No, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what's going through your head when you guys kick off and you see Brady? Wait. He's got 220, a timeout, and a touchdown beats us.
You couldn't get a perfect scenario to get a 6 ring, 220. Hey, let's go get a last 2-minute drive in. So let's go get this W. It didn't happen though, thank God.
And curious though, because then somehow after the strip sack, you guys got the ball back, or they got the ball again. What are you thinking while the Hail Mary's in the air?
Well, what can you do? I was mad we didn't get a first down to seal it there, so I was pretty mad about that. So didn't want to put it in his hands.
Now, at that point in the game, did you go to the coach? Okay, you guys get the ball back. You went to the coaches? Did you?
No, they went to me. They came to our side. They got in the jam front and smashed, and nothing really happened.
It's really hard to run against New England. They probably was in a gap defense, right?
Yes.
But you told them to run your way.
Huh? I did tell him. I think just kind of knew.
Okay.
Me and you got big baller Brandon Brooks next to me, the right guard is what I call him. So, yeah, I mean.
Now that the dust has settled just a bit, take us back and kind of give us what your thoughts, impressions, and everything was of just being there and taking it all in, because you couldn't really talk about it to anyone because you were so focused on the game. This is the first time your franchise has done this, to be a part of something like that. What does it mean to you, and how did it all kind of play out over the course of the
We just had fun and embraced it. We didn't want to go there and kind of be nervous. We wanted to enjoy our time. You know, nobody expected us to be there anyway, so, hey, let's go and enjoy it while we can. Pretty much, guys hung out. We went to the mall. I got a new pair of J's, and I'm wearing on right now.
You went to the mall.
Went to the Mall of America. The Mall of America. The Mall of America.
You went shopping.
I went shopping.
I love it.
So got some new shoes, and that's pretty much it. And then towards the end of the week, you couldn't go in there. You get harassed by fans. Just a bad situation. But we had fun.
And so Minneapolis, that's my second home. Spent most of my career there.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, because of the weather, it might have helped the Eagles have some type of advantage, or they were focused on the game because of the weather and the lack of distractions.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you walk outside, you better be focused on survival because it's about negative 20 wind chill. So, yeah, I mean, we pretty much did that. You know, we did all our media obligations, and then when it was time to go practice and get serious with it, that's what we did.
We had you on, as Jenna mentioned, a few times throughout the year. One time was right after Carson Wentz got hurt.
Yeah.
And you seem to have not a false confidence, but a real confidence, not just in your team, but in Nick Foles. You're also one of just a handful of guys that are still on the team that your rookie year was his magical season, right? The 27 touchdown, 2 interception year. How much of your belief in him stemmed from the fact that you had seen him, granted in a different offense, but that you had seen him when you first got to the league have one of the best statistical seasons we've ever seen?
I was just thinking, you know, my rookie year, he had great success. So I've seen it before. And even before the season started, I was like, you know, if anything does happen to Carson, we're in a great situation. And that goes, you know, just with a lot of depth, you know, linebacker, left tackle, which usually, you know, you don't have. And we were fortunate. You know, it's terrible what happened with Carson, but we did. I mean, as soon as Nick got in the rhythm, and got in the offense that he liked, man, it was just really, you know, taking off in there.
Lane, one of the things I think we were all really impressed with afterwards was Doug Peterson's play calling. I think we thought he was going to go out there and call a pretty fearless game. I don't think anyone thought he was just going to be lights out, thrill-seeking. Balls to the wall, everything you got, go win it for us, Nick Foles.
Yeah.
We were impressed with it, and it was fun to watch. Tell me about it from the other perspective, being part of it.
So the night before the game, he said, hey, you know, I'm going to call my plays. I'm going to be me. I said, all right, Coach. All right, well, hey, we're going to see. We're going to see tomorrow. So
So you was calling his bluff?
No, I mean, I believed in him, but hey, he was excited. And then got in the game, and it was just first down to first down to first down. And then the Philly special, I think, you know, we've been running it for weeks. We had it in our back pocket. And I think Nick mentioned it to Doug. I was hoping that we'd run it in that situation and got it done. So just
when you practice it successfully?
Successfully, yeah. There was many times where we dropped the ball. You know, it was late on the timing, it was messed up. So yeah, we got it done though when we needed to.
So you were on the front side of the play. He's the right tackle. He's decoying them, making them think that they're going to the strong side.
Yeah, like
wide.
a bootleg. Yeah.
Yes, you're trying to get them to hook it in. Your guy takes the bait. So you had an easy job sealing off that backside. What were you thinking? What were you thinking, though?
So the snap count's on my name. So he went, hey, Lane. And on second lane, I was just, hey, you better not jump off sides. Or, hey, Twitter, gonna be popping, gonna be steaming. So
not only was it called the Philly special, but the
count was on. Yeah, it was on my name.
Because it's supposed to, if I'm not mistaken, he's pretending he's going lineman to lineman to tell him the new play.
Exactly.
And so he's standing behind you at the moment
to make it look like an audible.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I came up, called my name, and you know, made it look interesting, and snapped the ball, and we ran the bootleg, and you know, Nick kind of stalls and runs out, and.
All right. So the story of the game is the amazing the Patriots and your comeback. Nick Foles MVP. There's the Brandon Graham strip sack, which you alluded to, which was the play that nearly sealed the game. But you guys don't score 41 points if Nick Foles is on his back. You guys give up 0 sacks. You're a huge part of that. That offensive line that has been, I understand you guys lost future Hall of Famer Jason Peters, but you guys have been together throughout the year. What were you guys able to do against New England? James Harrison, who had shown some flashes in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's still flashing.
Yeah, so what were you able to do against the Patriots?
We knew they were good at what they do. Not necessarily over-talented what they do. They don't make mistakes. As far as their different blitz packages, they'll have a jam front to stop the run. They'll have a split double A package. And
Okay, now what's a jam front? For the people out there who don't necessarily know, can you break it down a little more in layman's terms?
Pretty much jam front, you're stacking the box. I want to take away the run.
Yes.
And you know, that's what they did, and they have it 2 different ways with that. And then with the split double A, so you have, 2-3 techniques.
Yep. The defensive tackles move right over the gap to the left and to the right of the center.
Linebackers in the middle, and they did a lot of green dog blitzes. So that's where the linebacker act like he's coming or fake like he's dropping out and then come and blitz delay. So what they try to do is get the tackle's eyes to leave him and go to the other keys, and so he can have free access to the quarterback. So needless to say, we picked up on all that stuff. It sounds more complicated than it is. That's what a lineman's job is. So, but that's pretty much what it was.
You alluded, just real quick to follow up about James Harrison. He seemed to be none of them got to Nick, but he seemed to be the most effective of the pass rushers. Yeah. Was he the guy that presented the biggest trouble for you guys, and why does he present trouble?
It was Harrison and Flowers, just because Flowers is so versatile. You could put him at 3 technique, he creates a lot of pressure. You can put him all over the field and create pressure. With Harrison, why he's so good is, first of all, he has low center of gravity. He's not very tall, but when he has that rip move, jab step, get that tackle to turn, and then rip, I mean, you can't stop it. So, age is, he's still going.
There's this thing about the New England Patriots, as poorly as their defense had been playing, as kind of questionable was who was going to be and who wasn't going to be, and they still have Tom Brady, they still have Belichick. So for us to watch, it's one of these things where, don't worry, the Patriots always seem to find a way to get it done. Having, being in there in the trenches and watching when you're on the sideline, watching this team play and watching the way they work with Bill Belichick, what is it about this team that people seem like they're so intimidated by?
Well, first of all, their offense is on all Madden mode. So went out there, it was 20 a pop, 15. I mean, it was just, really, what can you do about it? He's been doing it for, oh, my bad.
No, that's all right. You the champ. You're all right. I got you covered. I got you. You're
right.
I
got a little bit on my jeans.
Yeah,
the new J's.
Oh, no. They're all right.
We're going to go shopping.
You're going to get again.
They got snake skin on them. They're good. They're good. So where were we? I lost my train.
About the Patriots, you said the Patriots.
Yeah, just their offense is clicking, and they've been on all Madden for a number of years, and that's really what it was. And we knew it was going to be a shootout as far as offenses, so and that's really what it was.
Man, we got to thank you.
Yeah.
We got to thank. You're causing the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones not to get any sleep. My man Nick Wright, he didn't give you guys any type of chance. Because I played a couple years in Philly, I'm rolling with the I'm rolling with the underdog.
Wait. No, you can't be an underdog anymore.
He's a top dog.
Lane, you're sticking around for another segment, right?
I am. I'll be
here. All
here.
right, cool. Lane's sticking around.
One more segment coming up. We're going to have some fun with Lane over here. What's next on First Things First? All right, moving on. Yesterday, we asked if the Cavs hit rock bottom. That was after they lost by 32 to the Houston Rockets, but before losing to the Orlando Magic, one of the worst teams in the league. Is there anything lower than rock bottom? Are we in the crust, the upper meosphere, the inner core? Geology aside, lately it seems like Cavs fans are living in the upside down. Here is the beleaguered king after another crushing defeat.
No time to to throw shade about our season. We got to continue to be positive and continue to push forward. We got quite a few games left, and if we still serious about the season, then we got to play some good ball at some point.
No one's come to save us. It's not the coach's fault. It's the players. We got to own it. All of us. We get opportunities. We all got to do our job. And if we're not doing our job, then we got to actually come out and let somebody else come in and do the job.
As players, we got to do better. When they start to go on their runs, which teams is going to do each and every game, we got to come together. And it's like right now, when we hit adversity, we go our separate ways.
It's a big telling comment from Isaiah Thomas to just give a little insight into what happens, even though we sort of know that happens when they lose. But I'll ask you the same thing I've been asking. How are we explaining what happened to the Cavs, both last night and of recent?
They're a terrible basketball team right now is the quickest explanation. What happened last night was the mirage wasn't what happened in the final 3 quarters. The mirage was what happened in the first quarter. The Cavs got up 21. I want to make sure America knows who they lost to last night. The Cavs blew a 21-point lead to the worst team in the league who did not have its best player. Okay? So Orlando, at full strength, is the worst basketball team in the NBA. They were without Aaron Gordon, maybe the league's most improved player and a guy who I believe is their best player. And they had, what did this turn into? A 39-point turnaround from 21 down to winning by 18 points. The fourth quarter in a season, CC said yesterday, you can call it rock bottom, but don't build a house on it. Well, you found a new rock bottom yesterday. So specifically about yesterday's game, what happened? In the first quarter, JR was hitting his shots. Isaiah hit some shots. In the next three, the rest of the game after the first quarter, JR, Isaiah, Derrick Rose, Channing Crowder. How about 1 of 22 from the field for 2 points? Like, so that's specifically why they lost yesterday's game, but that is a symptom of a much larger disease that has afflicted this team since Christmas, which is why since Christmas they have been one of the 2 worst teams in the NBA.
What's the disease? Is the disease chemistry?
Well, Isaiah said that, when they face adversity during the game, guys go their separate ways. I got some news for Isaiah. When they get on the team bus, they all go in their own separate way anyway. Listen, the team meetings, all the conversation. And matter of fact, it's led by LeBron. LeBron is doing his own thing. I'm not going to say he's checked out, but he's going about this season differently. LeBron, the reason why a lot of these veterans have taken less, come out of retirement, Richard Jefferson, is because LeBron was so inclusive to all those guys. Like, those guys traveling around with LeBron is like traveling around with the Beatles. Those guys traveling by themselves, they're nothing. Look at all the rest of the roster. They're nothing. All right? They're nothing without LeBron. So now LeBron has decided he can't take this team with him. Why? Because he's not in a good space with Dan Gilbert, the owner. He has no relationship with the general manager. He has no clue of what's going to happen in the future, and they're not that good. Without Kevin Love, they don't have enough guys that can score the basketball. Typically, when you can score the basketball, that will cover up for your woes defensively or the team not being connected. That's why they look good the first quarter and didn't look good the rest of the game, because their offense is not good enough to cover up for their lack of chemistry. This is a bad team. And as I said, these are LeBron's last. He got 32 games left, Cleveland fans. All right? 32 games, LeBron will leave Cleveland after the playoffs.
You don't after the playoffs. Okay, I didn't know if you were had them.
No, there's no need to get carried away. Let's let it just keep falling, okay?
Let it
So
keep
on yesterday's show, the man across from me here, Cris Carter, said that the Cavs should ask LeBron to waive his no-trade clause. Then as soon as our show went off the air, everyone else seemed to wonder whether LeBron should waive his no-trade clause. Then my 4-year-old asked if LeBron should waive his no-trade clause. After the Cavaliers lost the game last night, a bunch of reporters went up to LeBron and asked him whether he should waive his no-trade clause. Take a listen.
Listen, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for this season right now to try to, figure out ways we can still compete. I couldn't give up on my teammates like that. I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. We put too much into the game, every single day. We go out and prepare, even though win, lose, or draw. At the end of the day, we are brothers and we understand that. So, I owe it to my teammates to finish the season out, no matter how it ends up. So, no, I would never waive my no-trade clause.
Pretty definitive there. So, CC, look what you started with all of this. You mentioned this yesterday. Now he's come out and said he's not going to waive it. So, do you have something else for us?
No, we're strapped. I mean, that's the next thing. Yeah, you're strapped. All right? They're going to get knocked out in the playoffs. And just like before, he's going to take the jersey off and leave the Cavs and go to his next team. That's the way it's going to end in Cleveland. There's no need to be dramatic about it. Like, these are the steps and these are the signs. Yes, LeBron, I know it. Yes, this is my teammates and everything. Yes, absolutely. No, I don't want to be traded. I'm not going to give up on it. You know the reason why? Because he'll get blamed for it. They'll say he quit on the Cavs, regardless of what team he goes to. They'll come up with other.
Before the end of the season.
If he were to waive his no-trade,
of course.
And I am not a professional reporter. However, I occasionally do some reporting, and I can say definitively, without question, a leading contender in the league inquired to Cleveland about acquiring LeBron. And they were told, this was prior to CC's speculation, they were told, no, it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you want. He doesn't feel he can leave Cleveland during the year. Doesn't, because of either what it means for his image, what it means, but he has the opportunity right now, or had and does for the next 30 hours, to abandon this ship a few months early and probably give himself a better chance to win a title. He is not going to do that. I understood Cece's point, which is, man, Milwaukee could still be a contender, give up a couple pieces for LeBron and be the favorites in the East. We know that Houston would love to have him. If he and Kyrie could get along for a few months, Boston could. There are teams that could make the salaries work and acquire LeBron. He'd be in a better situation than he is right now. But the Cavs are not trading LeBron, which begs the question, if they are going to make a move in the next 30 hours, why on earth would they not be talking about trading Isaiah Thomas? If you remember, one of the reasons that Dan Gilbert was skeptical about trading for Paul George was Paul George is a pending free agent. Well, Isaiah Thomas is a pending free agent. And I understand that Dan Gilbert, and this is another issue with the ownership right now, he has always loved the underdog. It's one of the reasons he loved a guy named Kay Felder. They paid a huge premium to get this guy in the draft a few years ago because he's undersized. Dan Gilbert's looked at himself as an underdog. So he and Isaiah Thomas have become very close, the owner and the acquisition this year. But Isaiah Thomas, since he's gotten to the Cavs, has been statistically the worst player in the league.
I mean, what are you going to get for him?
That's my question. Well, if
it was at this point,
I mean,
he
a bag
is
of Doritos and a Coke?
No. At this
bags.
point, he is an expiring contract, and you would have to pair him with, by the way, a draft pick. Like when I talked about whether or not they could trade for Kemba Walker, you would have to, if Charlotte wants to get off money, you would give the expiring contract of Isaiah Thomas, the expiring contract of Channing Frye, and you're going to have to include a draft pick.
Right. I think that it's on the board. I think it's on the board that they are looking to move Isaiah if they could. But, man, what are they going to get for him?
Right now,
I mean, they're not going to get anything for Isaiah. What do you accomplish by trading him?
Well, right now, what you would accomplish is him not playing in your lineup. Because right now...
Oh, yeah, we can go put Derrick Rose in there.
Well, when they were playing their best basketball, it was Jose Calderon.
Okay, Nick, no problem. Nick, Jose Calderon, you called him barely an NBA player.
Correct. Yep.
So now you changed it like he's Marcus Haynes now. He damn Bob Cousy?
No.
I mean, I heard what you said.
Absolutely agree. I was surprised that Calderon...
LeBron was playing at the MVP level. Mm-hmm. Don't be looking at the point guard. LeBron was playing different too.
What do you think what is the big difference between the Cavs when they won 18 of 19? The Cavs, the first two games with Isaiah, when on this set it was said they would have the best record in the league moving forward, and what they've been the last month. It has been Isaiah Thomas has been unplayably bad. Like JR's been bad all year. JR's been bad all year. Crowder's been bad all year.
Okay.
They were bad.
Tristan, hurt and bad.
Right. Those guys were bad when the team won 18 of 19.
What are we discussing?
I'm discussing the guy that since he got there is when they've gone into tailspin. I'm discussing the guy that confronted Kevin Love and caused more discord. I'm discussing the guy who said right there in the comment that we played, oh, we go our separate ways. Well, you're one of those guys, IT. IT's been awful, right? Like, we agree on that, correct?
LeBron's played with worse players and still won. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. LeBron's played with worse players and still won. Spread the blame around. All right? Just spread it around equally.
Well, take yesterday, for example, though. If we're going to spread the blame around equally. Yesterday, what was LeBron or was he not the best player on the court? Did he or did he not play a really good game? And they got blown out.
Okay. LeBron would typically beat Orlando. Okay? Why is he losing now? He beat Orlando just repeatedly with bad players. Mm-hmm. All right? So LeBron is part of the problem too, Nick.
Nick, you don't think LeBron's checked out?
I said yesterday that he looks as disengaged as I've ever seen him. Last night, listen, 25, 10, and 5 on 65% shooting. JRIT Rose and Crowder, 1 of 22 from the field in the final three quarters, is why they lost that basketball game. The question is, after tomorrow's trade deadline, are they going to have all four of those guys still on this basketball team? Hey, everybody, Nick Wright here, and thank you so much for listening to the First Things First podcast. But I wanted to tell you about another podcast at Fox Sports that we are so excited about, and that is Alexi Lalas's State of the Union podcast. That's right, U.S. soccer legend Alexi Lalas will be partnering up with Fox soccer guru and researcher extraordinaire David Moss to review the top storylines in soccer across the globe. Each week, Alexi will give his state of the union on American soccer as it rebuilds for the future. Subscribe and listen for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts right now. Now back to the show.
You guys, you know how when you daydream, you tend to go big? Like, why hit a long three to win it for your rec league when you can dream about getting the pass from Jordan and nailing it to win it? Well, when the Thunder Big Three were put together in the offseason, they daydreamed about this last night's performance, facing the defending champs with a lot of eyes watching, a lot of pundits wondering if they could take them down. They did. Thunder over the Warriors, 38 points from Paul George, 34 points from Russell Westbrook. Warriors, though, have now lost 3 of their last 4, but no reason to worry, says the head coach.
I mean, it happens. The season is so long and arduous and happens to everybody, and you go through a rough patch. And so we're in a rough patch, but we'll be fine. We'll get out of it.
Let's keep remembering that it's just 3 of 4 games. It's not a huge sample size. But, CC, is it starting to look like the Warriors maybe are a little bit vulnerable?
No, they definitely are vulnerable. This is the first time that we really even considered that they might lose the number 1 seed. Houston being 2 games behind them in the win column, tied with 13 losses. Like, when did we ever think, like, maybe before the All-Star break, like, or going into the All-Star break, someone might have a better record than Golden State? We'd be like, no, that's not going to happen.
We thought Houston lost any chance of that when Chris Paul was injured early, Harden was injured after that. They thought any chance Houston was going to have of catching them was gone.
Right, and I'm not just jumping to some big reaction because of the Thunder and how they performed last night in Golden State. We thought, Nick, you and I have been talking all year that in a second or third round matchup, this is a tough matchup for Golden State. And if they have to play a team like San Antonio or the team that we watched last night in Houston, we thought this could be the toughest stint that Golden State would go through. Several years ago, where Doc Rivers and others pointed out that Golden State won a title, but they didn't have to face the point guard and a lot of other key players in their run for that title. Man, if we stay the way we are now, and Houston, OKC, and if San Antonio can get, this is the toughest top 4 teams that we've seen in the West since I can remember. So it's not only just an OKC thing, it's those other teams too and how they match up. And if Golden State would get, if they drop to the 2 seed, playing that number 7 the first round is a lot tougher matchup than playing the 8.
And playing the 3 in the second round is a lot tougher matchup than playing the 4.
Even more important.
The thing is this, the 3 might be OKC. It could be Minnesota theoretically, but it also might be the 3 or 4 could be San Antonio with Kawhi back. Like, let's not forget what an important factor them sweeping the Spurs last year was and how good they came out against the Cavs to begin with. I know you believe, and most people believe, they would have won that series anyway. But when the Spurs are up 25 points in early second half of game 1 of that series with a healthy Kawhi Leonard, it looks like they're going to be in a dogfight of that series where the Spurs were going to have stolen home court. The Warriors are deserved 2 out of the last 3-year champs.
Yes.
But you can't discount path and injury luck each of those years that have played in their favor and against the favor of their opponents. So now all of a sudden you have an OKC team that, by the way, has had some bad injury luck all of a sudden. Andre Roberson, he, out for the years. The Durant called him the best defender in basketball. OKC was playing very poorly. That's the other thing that needs to be recognized. Not only did Oklahoma City lost 4 in a row, they had lost to Washington without John Wall, to the Pelicans without Boogie, to the Lakers without Lonzo. Like, they lost a home game to the Lakers that wasn't even full strength, and then they go in a game they are 10-point underdogs and soundly beat Golden State. A game where Golden State, again, doesn't take care of the basketball. 25 turnovers. Like, yeah, I mean, they can push them.
Nick, is there anything to the thought that maybe the Warriors know what they need to do to get to the finals and don't necessarily need to kill themselves every single night? They don't need to finish the season with just 10 losses. They know that it's okay. They don't have to rest on. They can rest a little bit on their laurels. I agree that they're not shooting for 73 wins, and I do agree that they're a team that knows how long the season is. But I also said at the beginning of the year, and boy, oh boy, does it look like it's catching up to Cleveland, and it seems like at least somewhat it's catching up to Golden State. Hard to make 4 finals in a row now.
Yes.
3 straight 100-game seasons. Take their toll. We haven't seen anyone make 4 finals in a row that doesn't have LeBron on their team since Bird Celtics in the 80s. It's hard to do.
I think also with OKC, they were in a tough rut. And you talked about Roberson's injury. But what they've been able to do is find a young star in Jeremy Grant. Last night, he played in 35 minutes, but his offensive and defensive contribution make them a little more athletic. So it's not, they went through a rut, but also they'll be able to find some other players. Now, one reason why, I'm going to bring LeBron James into this, one reason why LeBron James is upset, man, he could have been playing with Paul George. And to see Paul George being able to
38 points.
And lead the NBA in steals, imagine that being in Cleveland. LeBron wouldn't be in the rut that he's in. The Cavs wouldn't be in the rut they'd be in.
Yeah.
I just thought that based on all the stuff that we heard about Paul George and LeBron wanting him there in Cleveland.
I'm Jenna Wolfe, and thank you for listening to the First Things First podcast. Make sure to subscribe and tell your friends, family, and coworkers about the podcast, which, by the way, is available on iTunes and all your favorite podcast apps. You can catch a fresh new episode every Monday through Friday on FS1, starting at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, 3:30 a.m. Pacific. So long, everyone.